Log recording. It's still the 24th of December, Sunday, 7:38 in the morning. We were John C. Roseman, California. I am like this morning when I woke up to it. I'm not quite sure how to be defined except as fog in nature, in emotions, and in thoughts. I was trying to go for the more positive aspect of it, and I was taking pictures of it. Just seeing how things were in a gray area. Christmas, all its charms and beauty, are supposed to be, positive in nature. Sometimes, not so much at times. I'd seen how the light outside was covered over in gray. It was like still outside. Very few cars moving up and down the street. Nobody on the street or out and about. It was like a collective hush or a collective waiting for something to happen. I'm not quite sure how to define itself. You know, I put out a message because a dear friend of mine sent out a card, and I need to preserve it without the bugs getting to the damn thing. But I also want to display it prominently, at least for a little bit. I'm grateful to her. She had been a good friend. I still have good dear friends out there. The one thing I hadn't mastered, like my mother and my brother had, was doing Christmas cards. I did a video letter. I did pictures, post them on social media. Not the same though when you start doing your own calligraphy. I don't know whether or not to be absolutely miserable or absolutely happy at this point. I'm like the fog right now, and it's lifting up to show more definition of the day, and more sunshine, and more warmth, and therefore it'll show itself. But I keep the pictures of the fog because it still reminds me. Sometimes the day's not so well defined as you thought it would be. It can be either absolutely miserable or absolutely breathtaking. And somewhere there's a bit of symmetry to it, a bit of peace. Despite the anxiety or despite the anticipations of what today or tomorrow may bring, it's like this still blanket that lays on you. Cold as hell, but still lays on you. It's not the stillness of death. Don't even start thinking about that one. No, I am reminded. Some mornings I can be amazed. Some mornings I can wake up and be just can't find the right words to get the moment, I have to see it, be in it, and just for a short moment, you're in it. It's cold as hell outside still. It is. clear out. It's clearing up right now, even as we speak, outside. But it's still something to wake up to in the morning. It doesn't happen every morning, but certain conditions happen where it's just right for it. And it seems like the world's okay for just a moment. I put the hat on not just because of the decoration for the day, it just also keep my ears warmed. Because it was a bit nippy out there. My dog doesn't like it. I covered her up in a blanket. Just for a brief few moments, I'm just trying to sit, just be. Christmas Eve, usually the time when people go nuts. Last minute shopping, rushing around, going to church services, especially when it's on a Sunday. People trying to be holly and jolly and be snarling at the same time. Hmm, I think I got the mixture right this time. Just the right amount of sweetness, just the amount of chocolate, and amount of coffee in it. You can still taste the bitterness of the coffee, taste the sweetness of the sugar, and I can definitely taste the chocolatey of the hot cocoa. I don't need the marshmallows. I don't need the mixers on it. I just like it as is. And later today, I'll be fixing the hot toddy, the fruit mulled wine. Ma called her version of mulled wine. I got my own. I just want to sit. I don't want to deal with anything negative. I don't want to deal with any of the negative news that's still there hanging around. That's going to be tearing a day apart, or 2 days apart anyway. And then a moment's gone and you deal with reality as it is. Just that moment of clarity and being ambiguity. There still is a sense of stillness. Sorry, sinuses. A bit of stillness in the air. I guess some people look at it like in fear, but I was outside in the fog for a few minutes, taking some shots. Just one got to me. Seeing how the sun was covered over, like see it fighting through the fog, and yet the stillness of it just covered over the entire town. So cold, so damp. It even fogged up my view. Kind of reminded me how my own vision is right now without my glasses. I could see the definitions, but I couldn't get you the clarity of it. Camera lens could get clarity. But the fog was reminding me of my own vision, in a way. How things are not so clear cut, or precise, or clarified. Times like these, when I think I got a handle on it, and I'm reminded I'm not. My own vision right now is a bit clouded. It's always been that way. Without a pair of glasses, I can't see with clarity. I can see the general shapes of it. I can see it like somewhat in a fog, just without refinement. This, well, here it's still outside for a Sunday morning on the Christmas Eve. It's like the waiting for anticipation of something to happen, and I'm just enjoying the stillness of it, and being reminded this is all right. This is okay. It's cold as hell. I can layer up and I can get my mama warmed up, hopefully. But this is okay. So that's the significance of the date, where the mindset and things I have to look forward to. Things that have to be done and things that still need to be done. What's the plan for today? DoorDash. Sign in again. Sign in again. Actually, I did sign in. And it's got the information necessary so I can do a quick shopping trip today. Plan for today, if it's allowable and still there, is to get another roasted rotisserie chicken. Get the crock pot ready for it because I'm making my chicken and rice dish. A long time ago, at church banquets, my family went to the First United Methodist Church in North Hollywood while we lived in the San Fernando Valley. And growing up in my youth, we went there. They would have church banquets. Someone would always bring out their favorite recipe of the chicken and rice dish that I had never heard of. And when they finally got it posted in the books, the cooking books, somewhere in here I got them. It was telling us back in the 70s what the measurements were for this stuff. I remember the main ingredients of it. There was three types of soups. You had rice, you had chicken. You also had margarine or butter. When you're cooking it in a frying pan, actually not in a frying pan, when you're fixing it in an oven, you had to make sure it was going to be hot enough to cook the chicken thoroughly. Not 3 hours worth. You covered it up. At the last half hour or so, lift it up so you can brown, so you can get a crust on it. And it was usually chicken pieces, thighs, legs, sometimes breasts. Breasts would cook fastest because they didn't have the bones, but once with the bone in, that's why it took so long to cook in an oven. And it was always be the favorite dish. I mean, it was always covered with slivered almonds on top of it. When they made that recipe book, we looked at it and we tried to follow it as best as we could. And ours came out okay. I'll tell you something, when you don't cook anything in a stove, man, it's a pain in the butt. I miss it. I miss pulling out meat or casseroles coming out of the oven, having it cooked. Even stuffing. I mean, cooking it on a stovetop all the time, it's one thing, but when you have it cooked in the oven, casserole dish mixed in with other things, it makes the meal a lot more satisfying. Mrs. Skeppison's would be the stuffing used all the time for us, especially when it came down for the holiday seasons, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Stovetop on, you know, it's all right. It's all right. Stovetop stuffing. It's quick. It's easy. It's like minute rice or mashed potatoes. Flavorful, salty enough. Don't need gravy because you have got the salt right there. But you get the gravy to get the moisture going because when you have that much salt in it, oof, burn city. Low salt's better. Get older, you can't deal with the sodium as much. I get the rotisserie chicken. because it's already been cooked. I found out that the raw chicken is way too much, like $3 or $4 more than a whole rotisserie chicken. Me and my dog enjoy it. Well, she's got to eat too. I mean, I don't feed her the canned crap anymore. No, I'll cook some hamburger for her. If she can deal with the carnita, we'll have that once in a great while. That's chicken and beef. If I can get some vegetables and fruit down her throat, it'd be nice. She's very picky. But I figured with the rotisserie chicken, I can pull that thing apart in pieces. Or at least use half of it anyway. The other half it probably is for my dog. So I'm going to be borrowing some of hers. But I figured about half of it, a bit of breast, a bit of leg, thigh, wing section there. I can make the layer of the soup. Here's the fun thing about the soup. You have to melt the butter, get it clarified enough, and then you have to mix it into the soup. Now, they never did tell you to, well, add milk to it. Waters it down, doesn't thicken up. Rice doesn't absorb it somehow. Discovered that the hard way one time, I think. So, what we did was melted butter. Poured into the soup mixture. Now, normally it would be about 3 main cans if we're talking about doing the stove. 3 large family-sized cans of cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, cream of celery. I couldn't deal with the cream of celery, and chicken and mushroom is barely what I could stand these days. So I just got the chicken and mushroom. That's about it. Got another can of mushrooms I can throw in there, a small can, but that works. I still got butter. I can mix it in with the soup mix. Fun part is when you're trying to get this working in the crock pot without it trying to burn like crazy. It's best when you use Pam, but it works when you also use butter on it. So you can get that lubricant all over it. Of course, that's what I also use on in the pan going into the oven is butter. Pam's okay. I haven't got any Pam. No, I gotta get me Pam. Even the vegetable shortening spray works if I can get it. Get the sides buttered up enough. I'm thinking about my crock pot there. It's a small one. It's not used for family, or just a family of 1 or 2. Ma's not going to have any of it because there's no way I'm going to be food poisoning my dog at that point. I mean, traditional flavoring is okay. There are certain flavors out there that she can try to deal with without it trying to kill her, and I got to limit it. So when I'm fixing the food, I have to be careful what I've gotten giving to her. She can't have the skin. The skin's where all the flavoring and all the other crap is, but the flavor itself can seep into the chicken. Not the ingredients itself, but just the flavor, the hints of it. But even that, I'm wondering what kind of damage that's done for her. But she's doing okay. She's still hyper. She's still driving herself nuts on some occasions. I still keep an eye on her. So once I get the pot coated, then there's the soups. After I've mixed them and get the melted butter in there to get them liquefied a bit, and then trowel it. It's like a layer upon layer upon layer. Layer of the soup, then the rice, then the soup, then the rice, put the chicken on top of it, then last layer. Because it's cooked already, it should be taking about 2 to 4 hours. It would take that long in the oven if it was raw chicken, and I'm not doing raw chicken. I did that once before, and it came out sucky. We had this old crock pot we used for other things, but my brother and I tried the chicken and rice dish in it. One time only. We looked at the mess. We didn't eat it. We tossed it out. The crock pot wouldn't heat up all around to keep everything cooked. With the one I've got right now, it's a round one. So, therefore, the heat can be circulated around and heat the whole thing up. But I'm not doing any raw in the damn thing. I mean, no meat for that one. Even though theoretically I could, but I'm not taking a chance. I'll do part boiling if I have to, or frying, or just browning it. But just enough to get the cooking process going, and then have the crock pot in its heat it. Of course, there has to be something around it to heat it with. But I just don't want to deal with raw again. It just doesn't work. So that's the plan. Now, since I've only got a working stove and no microwave oven because of the damn bug war, well, if I had a working microwave, that's infestation right there. I learned how to adapt without it. Double boiler. You put your food on a plate, put it on top of the large boiler. Get a large dome lid, and it may be a little soggy, but at least it still heats while you're boiling up the water and getting the steam going. And the heat, it's still heating up the plate underneath, which in fact turns to cook the food on the bottom. So you have to keep stirring every so often. And then with the dome on top of it, the heat and the humidity still tries to cook it. Anyway, that's the plan. I'm hoping. I'm hoping I don't screw this up. If I get any more backup plans, it's called sausages and macaroni and cheese. Anything else for food? I'm still hanging in there. I'm just trying to revel in the moment of the quiet right now. Not trying to stress, not trying to push or force myself. As soon as I turn on the news, I'm going to be screwed up on that one. That's for damn sure. For this moment right now, let it ride. Because I know I've been triggered so many times. And believe me, this holiday had been tearing my butt apart left and right. It's not just this specific one. It's the longer it becomes after passage of my family. Mom back in 2013, Dave in 2018. There was a dog, a little boy during that time, not to mention a surrogate mother friend of mine. Yeah, well, that was just problematic right there, wasn't it? A lot of people the past decade had turned me into a damn basket case. But I have to be grateful for the time right now as it is. But I tell you, losing those people in the 10 years, it really made the holiday seasons either more cute or just more emotional roller coaster. But since 2018, it had been an emotional roller coaster. I mean, yeah, I tried to do the motions for it. I mean, I tried to do the emotions and try to do the decorating, but I tell you, it gets harder and harder each year. And it's almost like, why am I doing this thing in the first place? Why am I doing this? Tried to find the reason for it. And even if I found the reason for it, did I find the emotional reason for it? I mean, we do the intellectual, but there's also inside whether or not it was right or not. That's why the morning kind of reminded me of the state, looking at things just frozen in time. Just for that moment, just for that sense of ambiguity, you're torn between stressing out, freaking out, or just not. Just cold outside. It's like it's filled with bated breath. There's no overly intense excitement. It's just being. And in that situation, I didn't have to feel the roller coaster. I didn't have to feel the excitement. I could just feel I'm there. Sometimes there are no words for that understanding. And maybe a little bit later today, I'll probably get knocked by the roller coaster. I know I will. Almost did. The only card I received in a long while from a dear friend of mine. Yeah, and that one makes me cry. But I'm not. I mean, I could feel the trigger trying to get the emotional response, but I don't feel it. No, I feel like it's all right. I can feel it in myself. I can feel it choking me, just trying to get out and really do a number on me. But I'm also feeling one more thing that my biology is screaming for right now. Food. So, morning grub. A day like this, I don't know. Do you think grits or cream of wheat? I'm staying away from the fried food today. It's just, ugh. I mean, I could deal with cream of wheat with bananas in it. You know, I got a couple of bananas I can throw in there. And just enjoy the sweetness of the moment. And fill my belly with hot food. I want so much probably to curse and cuss, but it's just not happening. It's not a desire or need. It's been like a force of nature. I've been doing it myself all this time. But for this one, not this one. Not this one. It's not needed. It's not needed. So, a Merry Christmas. And now what the Grinch says. No, they try to do the force cheer people's throats. It's just the state I'm looking for. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get a gift or two, but that is a precious gift. That right there is my precious gift. Just for today. Just for this moment. I don't know about the next one. I'll let you know about that one.